Hi, I'm Hagar. I'm so happy to have a moment with you. Welcome to Mama Mandala. Did you know that Venus is in retrograde? It is. July 22nd, which is today, the day I'm releasing this video, and all the way until September 3rd, 2023. But don't go away if you're not in this time zone because we can do this work anytime. Listen, I'm not an astrologer. I don't have a faith-based relationship with astrology. I don't have a faith-based relationship with anything. I think faith has the tendency to close us off actually to possibilities and create too much certainty in the way that we interact with something. So I love inviting myself and others to a relationship and a relationality with the world that is open, that is fluid, that is with the changing nature of ourselves and of the natural world, of the world around us and of society. Everything is constantly in a process of changing and of transformation. So I love inviting us into this play, into this work, not only during this time, right? Because who cares if Venus is in retrograde or not? What I'd like to invite us into in this time and then beyond is into this idea that this goddess of love and abundance and beauty and creativity and art, this embodied expression of refinement, of all the good things in life, of good food and flowing water and energy that moves us outward is actually going inward, right? Because what is a retrograde? It's when something goes underground, right? From our perspective on Earth. So the planet Venus is going on a little traveling time beneath the ground, under the earth, and into the underworld, into where we metaphorically, symbolically get to do a deep dive into transformative practices, right? What is the underworld if not the place where death takes us into a process of breaking things down and becoming other things, right? Because death nourishes life. Death is a life force. No, it's kind of cool. In the yoga tradition, there are 10 pranas, 10 energies of life force, and there's 5 main ones and 5 that are considered less important. But in the less important, how is this less important? There's one that is the force of life that causes the body to break down after death. I mean, if that's not inspiring, I don't know what is. Death is a life force. So when we go through journeys within our life that move us in directions of unstructuring things and moving into entropy and moving into a shattering of how we've seen ourselves and the world, we are invited into a process then of nourishing and feeding and giving life to what is yet to come, right? So if the energy of art and expression and refinement and good food and delicious wine and the pleasures of the body and all the eroticism of living, breathing as an embodied presence, if all that is moving into the underworld, then it's not going away, but rather it's going into a process of transformation. And Venus is, in astrology, considered to be the planet of relationships, right? So our relationship with ourselves and our relationship with others, our relationship with a romantic someone, or our relationship with our children, our relationship with our parents, our relationships with the environment, with society, all of our relationships can go. They're not necessarily going to go. Some people say that it's going to happen whether we tend to it or not. Who knows, right? Who knows? And who knows if it has anything to do with Venus in retrograde. But if we're taking this time to look at some things in our lives, to look at our relationship with ourselves and our relationships with others and our relationship with our environment, and to do some contemplation, to do some movement with and movement around and movement through some of the issues that we want to uncouple with and unstructure, so that we can open some things up to allow new worlds to flow in, then why the hell not, right? What a gorgeous invitation to do some deep thought processes and to do some feeling into where we are, and to turn that into a creative journey where we get to reshape some of the ways that we, some of the things that we are, some of the ways that we are, some of the aspects of our lives that are due for a little bit of a transformation in the ways of our relationality. So let's do a little embodied practice to move with this idea, with these ideas. Come to your mat and bring yourself into child's pose. So knees wide apart and big toes touching. Move your hips a little bit side to side. And you know, Venus, Aphrodite, from the Greek mythology, move the torso a little side to side as you slowly bring your forearms to the earth. Breathe slowly, and your forehead to the earth. I'm not placing my forehead on the earth so that the microphone that I have doesn't get covered, and so that you can hear me well. Breathe slowly, and you can still move a little side to side, or you can bring yourself to a more still position and breathe. So Aphrodite, who comes before Venus, because Venus is a Roman expression of the Greek Aphrodite. And Aphrodite is born out of sea foam, and that's what the name Aphrodite means, slow breath. And you can breathe the vision of the Botticelli painting, that famous, gorgeous piece of art of Venus standing on a seashell, in a seashell, born out of the foam of the sea. And so with Venus, with Aphrodite, we're invited into our own fluidity, the waves of our breath, the movement of our body. The movement of life itself. Bring a tone to the back of your throat if you haven't already, so that you can interact with your breath. It's the relationship invitation of Venus. Bring a deep engagement with your breath, so you listen to it, but you also wrap the back of your throat around it to breathe slowly and deeply. And then walk your forearms a little bit more forward. Keep breathing deeply. Pull your chest forward. Take your legs back. Bring your hips down to the floor and come into Sphinx pose. And you can move your hips a little bit side to side and breathe. So this is a beautiful time to do shadow work, to turn toward the parts of ourselves that tend to be hidden, or the parts of ourselves that we tend to not want to look at. Pull your elbows towards the hip bones and pull your chest forward and up. Deep breath in. And exhale, slowly lower your chest down. Put your hands by the sides of your chest and tuck your toes under. And with an inhalation, bring yourself to all fours, to your hands and your knees, and move the hips around a little bit in that Aphrodisian kind of a way, right? You can let it be a little sexy if that feels good for you. Let it be, it doesn't have to be sexy, but let it be sensual. Feel the movement, feel your breath, feel your hips, feel your spine. Maybe make circles with your hips around and breathe. Move your head in relationship, change the directions if you need to in relationship to what you're doing with your hips. So things feel fluid and delicious in how you move. So it's a great time to do shadow work around our sensuality. If stuff comes up for you in your life and in your relationships regarding that, it doesn't necessarily have to be things to do with sex. And please find a good therapist to talk to if things come up through this invitation to do this work. Inhale, take your chest forward and your hips back. And exhale, slowly looking toward your navel and round your back, right? Definitely a great time to find a wonderful therapist to do shadow work with. Inhale, reach your hips back and your chest forward. Maybe that's your homework for Venus in retrograde. In exhale, look in toward your navel and round your back, right? It's a great time to look at what's coming up for us in the areas. Inhale, take your chest forward and your hips back. In the areas of what Venus symbolizes. Exhale, looking towards your navel. And then inhale, reach your chest forward and your hips back and lift your right leg up. And with an exhalation, bring your right foot outside of your right hand and move your hips a little side to side. So I brought the palm of my right hand up a little bit and came up on the fingertips to help that right foot come forward. So we always want to find ways to support ourselves. And this is perhaps the deepest invitation to do this kind of work during this time and beyond. Deep breath in, pull your left knee forward, your right heel back, pull your chest forward. And exhale, bring your right leg back behind you. Move a little in the hips. And with an inhalation, reach your left leg back. And exhale, bring your left foot outside of your left hand. Again, I lifted it up. What do you need to do in order to support yourself? Maybe you're moving around here. Maybe your hands all the way down is actually not feeling good and you need some blocks to support yourself, or you can put your hands on a chair. Maybe your right knee on the floor feels too bony and doesn't feel good, and all the weight of your body on your knees feels horrible. So you put a blanket under there or a pillow, or you fold your mat and you put your knee a little bit more on a padded area. Deep breath in. What do you need to do to support yourself in your life? Exhale, bring your left knee back. Slow inhalation. And with an exhalation, bring your hips down and forward, point your feet and lift your chest forward and up. Deep breath in. Here's our friend, the serpent. Move your serpent side to side, because the serpent is an invitation to look at things from different angles, to move around things, to move with things, to be fluid in our movement in an Aphrodite kind of a way. Deep breath in. And exhale, lower your body all the way to the earth. Bring your let's do right forearm in front of you. Lift your chest up and bend your left knee. Reach back with your left hand and hold the inner edge of your left foot. And bring your foot in toward your hip. And breathe. Pull your chest forward and up. Hello, thigh stretch. Slow breath. Slow exhale. How can you show up for yourself so that you can also show up to others, to causes that you care about? Slowly release your left leg and put your left forearm in front of you and bend your right knee. Bring your right foot towards your right hip and breathe slowly as you lift your chest up. Right, as this artistic, expressive energy moves to the underworld, we have an opportunity to work with our creativity inwardly, to take a pause from letting it become about expression and to let that be about reflection, about contemplation, about looking within, about turning ourselves not away from the world but toward the inner ocean so that we can softly listen to what we need, to what is needed of us. Slowly release the foot. And with an exhalation, push yourself back into child's pose again. Big toes touch, knees wide apart. Stretch the lower back towards the hips, towards the heels. Forearms down, forehead down, and breathe. Stretch the lower back all the way from the bottom of your ribs through your hips all the way down as you lengthen your chest forward, and breathe here another couple of moments. To listen, to feel into your space. A reconstruction of your relationship with your own creative energy, with the way that we can turn life into an art form. And slowly walk your hands back and sit back on your heels. Your knees could stay open a little bit for this one. I like it with the knees a little open for this, or if you prefer, you can bring your knees towards each other. Reach your right hand behind you, and with an inhalation, circle your left arm in front of you. Lean into the right hand, but lift your chest up, and the left arm lengthens. And exhale, bring your left hand down. Lean into the left hand, but pull your chest up and away from it. So the head of your arm bone on the left side roots into the socket, and lift your chest up as you circle your right arm in front of you and stretch the whole right side of your body toward the left. And then exhale, bring your right hand down. If you want to turn that into a little bit of a flow, you can. Inhale to reach the left arm over the head. And if you need to spend more time with it, you can too. Exhale, lower your left hand down. And inhale, circle the right arm in front of you and lift your chest. And exhale, bring your right hand down. Stay longer if you need to. Inhale, lift the left arm up. And exhale, circle it back down, and inhale, stretch your right arm up. And exhale, bring it down. With an inhalation, open the arms out to the sides, and with an exhalation, bring your arms around you and bring your hands towards the scapulas, towards your shoulder blades, and hold your shoulder blades with your hands, and maybe even lean back a little bit with your chest so that your heart can actually rest back in this center that symbolizes love in our body. Roots back, not to not offer, because here we are, we're going to give it back to the world. Inhale, open the arms, right? It's not to turn away, but it's to nourish within. Exhale, bring the other arm on top as you bring yourself in. Hold your scapulas with your hands and lean back a little bit. Let your heart settle back. Breathe slowly. Let yourself lean into yourself. And let's turn that into a flow if that feels good. Inhale, open the arms. Or you can take it way slower. Exhale. Give yourself that hug. One arm on top. And then inhale, open up the chest through the front. And then exhale, open up the heart from the back. As you lean it back, it actually opens up to what's behind. Inhale, one more time each side. Open the arms. And exhale, put one arm on top. And inhale, open up the arms. And exhale, other arm on top to give yourself that embrace. And then if it feels okay for you, inhale, open up the arms and release the hands towards the floor. Stand on your knees. You don't have to do the full thing that I'm doing right now. There are a couple of options. You can have your feet pointed to make it a little more challenging. If your lower back feels totally fine and your shoulders are open for that, you can tuck your toes under if you need to, in order to have it a little bit easier. Or instead of putting your hands on your heels, you can just put your hand behind your thigh. Grab a little bit of the back of your thigh. Inhale, we're going to stretch the left arm up and lean the right hand into the heel or into the back of the thigh. We're just going to work on lifting and lengthening the spine. So it's spine extension rather than thinking of it as a back bend. If your neck is very sensitive, you can put your left hand behind your head, and that can be a nice caressing of the back of your head, lengthening your neck. And kind of, you can massage your scalp a little bit even too. Right? Venus underground is actually really sweet. Come up as you inhale, and with an exhalation, bring your left hand to your left heel and stretch your right arm over your head. Stretch and lengthen. Take the hips forward as your chest lifts up, and it's an internal journey, right? So draw the legs towards each other. Move in so that you can also push out. So also push your legs out, and that's going to help to make your lower back sweeter in this position. Inhale, come up. And let's turn that into a little bit of a flow. Exhale, right hand to right heel, left arm over the head, or hand behind your neck, behind your head. Inhale up. And exhale, left hand to left heel, right arm over the head. So there's a couple of options for you, right, of how to work with it. Inhale up. And exhale, lean back. Open up the chest towards the sky, and inhale up. And exhale, take it back and back up as you inhale. And back into child's pose as you exhale. Take your hips down, feet together, knees apart. Take your chest forward, forearms to the earth, forehead to the earth, and breathe in slowly. And breathe out mindfully. Slow breath in. Slow breath out. Go ahead and bring yourself to lying on your back. And place your feet as wide as your mat. Open the arms out to the sides. Deep, slow inhalation. And exhale, slowly take your knees to the right and your chest to the left. A little gentle supine twist to help unwind the spine from the spinal extension. And slowly breathe. Unwinding is perhaps the deepest invitation of this underworld, underground, subterranean journey of a goddess that represents love and art and music. Inhale your knees back to center. Delicious food. Exhale, take your knees to the left and open the chest to the right. And because it's so outwardly going, and because we're in the months of summer that are already in their energy are very outwardly going, this might be a great time to counterbalance it, to co-mingle it, to integrate it into something that's softer and more internal. Slow breath, to let a contemplative wind move through a time that is, in general, more external. And we're also moving into, inhale your knees back to center, and with a slow exhalation, let your knees knock in. We're also moving toward the middle of summer, which begins to transition the energy from the peak into the fall, the peak of summer into fall. Bring your right knee to your chest with an inhalation and hug it in. And as you bring your knee in, also push it away from you. So you're creating movement in both directions, which is really Venus underground, underground's invitation, right? You can stretch your left leg straight if that feels okay. And breathe. Flex your left foot and root and ground the top of your left thigh into the earth. One hand there can sometimes be helpful. Deep breath in. And with an exhalation, take your right knee to the left and open the right arm to the right and ground the right shoulder. So the chest is actually really open here, right? It twists, especially on the back, but not just on the back. Can be deep heart openers, but I always think of them as a more well-rounded heart opener than a back bend. Just kind of fun, right? Because when we twist around something, we're always going to have a more well-rounded experience of it because we're looking at it, serpentine style, from different angles. Inhale, your knee back to center. And with an exhalation, place your right foot down. Inhale, bring your left knee into your chest and hug it in. Hold the top of your knee and push your knee into your hands as you pull it in towards you and breathe. So my ankle really wants to circle around. If you have any other body parts that are asking for movement, you listen. Listening is a deep part of relationships, right? And this is a time of listening to what different relationships in our lives are asking for. Stretch your right leg straight if that feels okay, and ground the top of your right thigh bone into the earth like you're sending the leg into the underground to have a conversation with the lover, the nourishing and abundance giving qualities of this goddess, this archetype. And then hold the outside of your left knee and take your left knee to the right and open the left arm to the left. Let your left shoulder root into the earth as you breathe. Slow breath. Going underground is a part of the cycle of the year of our lives. And we are reaching that part of summer that takes us into fall, the middle of summer, that is on the pagan wheel of the year is celebrated as a holiday called Lugnasad. Inhale your knees back to center, and it's a celebration of abundance. Exhale, bring your left foot down. And then inhale, bring both knees in toward you and move your hips around a little bit side to side. And release your legs, release your arms, open the arms out to the sides and allow your body to relax into the earth for a few moments. You can stay here for as long as you like. And I'd love to invite you to a Lugnasad celebration, a somatic ceremony, a journey that you can go on and take your time with a mythopoetic exploration and an embodied ritual, and you get a lot. You get 6 practices, and you get journal prompts and a whole hour and a half of a mythopoetic exploration, different stories and archetypes of the season. So it's all on the Mama Mandala website, and I would absolutely love to have you be part of it. So go check it out and subscribe to this channel and put a like on this video if you like it, and return to this practice throughout this retrograde and throughout any time that you need a little underground conversation with your Venus. Thank you so much. Namaste.